So marriage, it's also a human concept, it's also a Vedic concept, because the whole idea behind it is perpetuity of the human race. Right? There is a design to it, there's a method to it. Right now, of course, it looks like it's one big chaos, but from where we started, it made a lot of sense. So very quickly, just to point out that yes, there's no concept of marriage in plants, there's no concept of marriage in animals, right? It's about procreation. So it's that idea of procreation is still getting fulfilled, the race is still being continued, right? In other species who don't follow the idea of marriage, right? But we also know that there is a concept of loyalty in a lot of other species as well, right? That you have the same partner for your entire life, right? And if you don't have that partner, you suffer, which is, I think, a wonderful concept that we learn from the lovebirds, because if one of them dies, the other one also dies. Beautiful ways in which we learn about life and the cosmos around us. It's through the nature and the cosmos itself. Okay, so when we're talking about the idea of marriage from a human perspective and also from the Vedic perspective, I feel that we wanted to do that to safeguard a lot of things, right? And one of them being from the times that we're coming, right? So we have to think that we're coming from the idea of the society and human beings and the ideas of loyalty 5,000 years ago. The way the world is defined right now, it's completely different. So let's go back in time and try and understand what was happening back then. Back then, we had wars constantly, we had small kingdoms, we had kings governing, we needed to have some sort of a linear way of perpetuating our lineage, of having some method to the madness where if the king is with many, many wives, then there is always this fight for the next heir. What do you do with the finances of the family? What do you do with the kingdom? All of that stuff, right? So Vedic knowledge is coming from those sort of times. There was humbler times, the simpler times, of course. But the idea of the society was that the more cohesive that structure of the family is, the better it's going to be for the rest of the world, right? So the idea of marriage became very sacred. The sanctity of marriage had to be preserved, right? This seriousness was attached to the idea of marriage back then. And we introduced a lot of rituals. We also introduced ideas and concepts, of worshipping our partner, seeing them as God, seeing them as provider. It is all coming from the Vedic times, okay? Because we are giving a lot of power to the person that we are living with. We are honoring them, and that sense of mutual respect and belonging comes through all of these ideas and concepts. Now, going forward in time, where we have seen the ups and downs of society, and we are now in this modern time period where people are actually choosing not to get married. They're just choosing to have a relationship, and if it doesn't work out, you change your partner, move on to being with somebody else. Some people are also feeling more detached from the idea of even relationships, let alone marriage. I know that in today's time and age, we're also looking at marriage as a sense of validation and not as coming from a place of perpetuating the human race. That is not the thought in our heads anymore, right? We know the population is there, it's out there more than enough. We're also not thinking about protecting our finances or running a kingdom. None of that stuff is occurring to us. It's very individualistic, the whole idea and the pursuit of marriage, or even relationships. And I know I get this question where people are asking that, why do I need validation from one person, right? And be in a marriage with them, because there's too many ups and downs. So I might as well have these shorter relationships with people. The validation continues, right? Keep getting my dopamine hit constantly. That's what it is in the modern day and age. But when you think of the idea of marriage, it goes deeper than just managing your finances or the lineage, right? It gets into a slightly more philosophical space, which is about that two people being together for a long time can actually create more in terms of ideas, in terms of progress. Because when you think of progress of any kind, you have to give it time in order to judge it. In fact, in the marketing community, they say, we're putting an ad out there and we are studying it for the next few days to see how it performs, right? So in the same way, when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your marriage especially, the factor of time becomes very important, because if you're not giving it enough time, how are you judging it? And the quality of things improve with time. Now, I'm not talking about those really toxic, very regressive situations where a person is already suffering in the space of marriage. I'm not talking about that. But if it's a mutually pleasant, well understanding, well meaning setup of marriage, I'm talking about that. That right now there is passion, but what does this passion transform into? And we will only know about this in hindsight. I cannot predict this in the future for an individual, not as an astrologer, but as an individual, I don't know how it's going to be. But the only way I can judge it is over time. And when I have that time, I can build something. Now imagine yourself living on this planet for just a day. Can you achieve anything? Can you go to college? Can you do university? Can you build a business? No, you can't. You have to be here in this realm for a long time to be able to learn, to be able to build, to be able to assess your mistakes, the trials and errors of life. In the same way, marriage allows you the space and freedom to say, okay, we are getting into an agreement to give each other time to assess how both of us individually progress and how both of us together progress in time in order to build things. Now, building those things can be anything, because in the modern times, the idea is very different of what you want to build. 5,000 years ago, you wanted to build a kingdom. You wanted to have enough heirs to your throne. You wanted to, if you were from a humbler background, you wanted more people to plow the land. Right now, we don't come from those ideas. Now, it could be anything, whether it's financially you want to grow, whether you want to grow in terms of knowledge, you want to build something in terms of a business, you want to build something in terms of education, you want to educate the world, make a difference to the world, right? Do something for society. All of that will take time and will not happen instantly, and you need a team. And in a time and age where we are emphasizing on growth and defining it in very individualistic manner, I feel it is now that we need the institution of marriage more and more, because we need a team. We need people to support us, because the idea of existence itself has become very individualistic, right? And we know for a fact that I'm sitting here, but there's so many people in my life today supporting me. And when you get a partner, that partner is so intimately connected with you that it's almost that you are flowing in the same flow. You don't have to do the same things all the time, okay? But it's the flow that you are in together. And that is why it becomes so important, because timeline-wise also, astrologically, that person is very instrumental in bringing certain things into your life. You are very instrumental in bringing something into their lives. So coming back to the information of Vedic astrology, where we are coming from in the concept of marriage and togetherness, that transformation, growth, evolution, all of this will never happen in isolation. Unless you are a realized master. You're sitting in a cave and meditating and becoming enlightened. You're a Buddha, you don't need this world, right? You don't need anything in this world. You're in a different realm altogether. But if you're existing in this realm, you need your team, because you need that team, or I would say soul family, who's taken up a contract to help you evolve, and you are a part of that contract where you're helping them evolve. I think this sort of equation, while we define it as marriage, while we define it as relationship or dating or boyfriend, or no matter what name you give it, the agenda of this is that you have to bring something into my life, I'm bringing something into your life, and together, karmically, this is my duty to receive something from someone and transform. This is my duty to offer something to someone, because I'm born into this realm, there's a reason for it. So my offering also evolves and changes and transforms something around me. So marriage in a way helps you check a lot of boxes at a soul level. Now, in a practical sense, on your daily life, if you're judging it on the everydayness of your life, what it's doing for you, what it's not doing for you, that's a different thing. But at a soul level, it's allowing you to explore your life to the fullest, and all the challenges and even the good things are part of things that teach you, that help you evolve and bring in a lot of growth. So I feel those who are escaping the karma of marriage are trying to escape bits of what life can give them, right? Whether it's suffering, whether it's the good stuff, right? The whole idea of living life is you're born as a human, live everything, right? As a traveler, you want to go to every different corner of the globe, isn't it? So, or you want to try every different cuisine in the world. It's just like that. It's about experiencing life in different aspects, in different facets of it. And marriage allows you to do that at a very soul level, at a practical level also, but at a very soul level. And this marks your growth, gets you to be born at a completely different frequency in a different lifetime. And if you want to know more, visit my website. The address is given below. You can start your beginner's astrology course there. You can start off meditation practices. You have so many ebooks to read. Otherwise, just drop a message there. And I would love to know more about you, get to know you better. So till then, till my next video, I'll see you. Bye-bye.